That is Teddy Thompson from his new album, Never Be the Same. This is Teddy's first collection of original songs in 6 years, and he's sounding better than ever. We found Teddy at home in Brookyln on the eve of the album's release and asked him what he hoped would happen on the big day.
Yeah, I'm assuming somebody will present me with some kind of cake or something at some point, but I'm not sure. I'll let you surprise.
That's a good reason to put out an album. Cake is always an incentive. Very good. And it's been a while. I think you had a country album out a couple of years ago, and I think I talked to you about it when that came out, but this is your first collection of new songs in about 6 years. So what finally got you to this point?
Yeah, it's always a shock to me when somebody tells me how long it's been since my last record of songs, my own songs. This has happened to me a few times. I tend to go walkabout.
Right.
Sorry, that wrong country really, but just trying to get with the lingo.
It's a classic.
Yeah,
Walkabout is a classic Australian film, actually.
What is?
Walkabout is a classic Australian film.
Oh, it's a film. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
The general term. Yeah, 6 years. I mean, I guess I'm not very prolific with my own songs. I just sort of, and no one's really pushing me that hard to to finish them. So, but yeah, it was, we did have the pandemic, and so that's what led to the country records, really, because I hadn't really finished and I really wasn't in a frame of mind to make this record yet a couple of years ago, even though I had some of these songs. So I took that country road, and then, I got back to me.
All right. And in the press stuff that I got, I read that you've been inspired by Chuck Berry, Hank Williams, and Crowded House. Now, you may be interested to know that Neil Finn's studio is right on the same block that I live and work on. So I see him walking his dog all the time.
Oh, well,
why did Crowded House fit in there with Chuck and Hank?
Well, first of all, scream some fan rantings from me because I am a fan, and I grew up listening to the stuff that you mentioned. The sort of mid-50s American rock and roll was really my first jam. I was so into the Everly Brothers and Chuck Berry and Hank Williams, Eddie Cochran, and Gene Vincent, and all of this stuff. And, as a 10, 11-year-old, that's the first thing I was moved by. And then, so I had a couple of years of just being really in that little world. And when I was hearing contemporary music around me in the mid-'80s, on Top of the Pops, for example, I was appalled. I mean, I
was too. I couldn't stand the drum sound.
Yeah, that was a big part of the problem. But yeah, and so and then a couple of years later, in my early teens, I heard Crowded House, and they were a bit of a beacon for me because of that, because there was, I was really turned off by most of the contemporary music and so enamored of the old stuff, and so it was nice to hear something melodic and tuneful and that was happening now that I could latch onto and be inspired by and not feel like such a anachronism.
Right. Well, Split Enz, Neil Finn's previous band, just played a reunion show here on Sunday night, and I was impressed with Neil's guitar playing. You never think of him as that part of what he does, but he was very good. So it's always nice to learn something new, even though you think you know everything about everybody. So
yeah.
There you go. Anyway, and I see you got David Mansfield producing this record. I remember seeing him back in the Rolling Thunder Review. So what brought you to him?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, David, I'm that old.
Yeah. He started out, I think he was 17 in Bob Dylan's band on that crazy tour. So he's been a musical prodigy, obviously, for a long, long time. He's in his 60s now. I've known him a little bit on and off as a musician and through friends and family, and he's an East Coast, staple, such a high quality musician. And so I've played with him here and there. And then during the pandemic, he had this idea of, he suggested, making this country record with my friend Jenny Moldau. We're all three of us are friends, and he said, give us something to do. I'm bored and you're bored, and so we did this, and he did such a great job as a producer, and I didn't know that he had production skills. That we then made the country record of my own called My Love of Country on the back of that, and he's just such a pleasure to work with that it was this. He's the one I wanted to make this. I was excited to make a record of my own songs with him.
Gotcha. Yep. So this is called Never Be the Same. So did you have any kind of discussions with David about the sound and the vibe and whatever you're trying to get across with this record?
I mean, not really, actually, because we sort of it's an interesting question. I'm just actually thinking of how that happened. It's when you work with a producer, sometimes you have that conversation, but I think because we had already made these two records together, even though they were straight ahead country, so we found out that we have very similar sensibilities and tastes, and I just I knew that he was just the kind of guy that would, we'd figure it out. I just felt like we were simpatico, and that it was going to work out. And he's just such a high level musician that there was really nothing that could go wrong.
Oh, that's good.
I say that now because nothing did go wrong. But
yeah, it doesn't sound like it. No, I think one of the highlights is "So This Is Heartache." I was wondering if you can touch on that song or the production or whatever comes to your mind about that you can enlighten us with.
So this is heartache. I've heard about it. I know a thing or two best. Is it any wonder they sing about it? It's your whole world in on itself.
The jumping off point for the song lyrically is sort of I knew it because I'd never known it. Somebody once said that, and possibly a little bit of it's deja vu all over again.
Ah, yes.
To quote Yogi Berra.
Yes,
just
thank you very much. You've learned from being in Brooklyn, haven't you?
Yeah. People always think that's Groucho Marx, but it's not. I mean, the song is just kind of about that. You think you've felt something until you actually feel it, and then you're like, oh wow, no, I didn't know what it was until now. But it's also here it is again, and then I mean, it's I guess the recording came out sort of quite soul, quite sort of 60s Stax, and but David and I, when we were recording these songs, we didn't really there weren't many, when we were tracking the songs, there weren't many talks about direction. Even we had a great rhythm section, these great fantastic drummer and bass player, and we didn't really go out of our way to try and make this song in that vein. It just it just seemed that was the way to do it, and really that's kind of how I've always operated, and it is just what does this song want? What's right. It always kind of, most of the time it sort of asks for a certain backing, gotcha. And then this one certainly. But then once we had that, we certainly leaned into the Stax horns, and just
it's beautiful when those horns come in there.
So fun.
Yeah. It's best not to overthink these things. At some point, you just do what feels right, I guess. And what could possibly go wrong? That keeps it's the recurring theme, and it's folled by worst 2 weeks of my life. So I need to ask you what has inspired that? It's great lyric there.
With the stopping of the drinking comes an avalanche of thinking. Will I ever be the same? when you come and see me, it'll have to be for green tea. Will I ever be the same?
That's a song, about the excesses, and it's pretty broadly addressing, not, a little addiction, a little bit, but not really the crushing, truly terrible, life ruining addiction that might have you living in the gutter, but more just the proclivities that we have for certain things that we just can't stop, and we don't want to give up, and we just keep sort of, I'm a little bit anally retentive and repetitive, and I just, I find myself going over the same ground over and over again, and getting a little bit trapped.
Gotcha. Is that the basis for the album title, Never Be the Same, and the cover and all that? Just trying to shake it up a bit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the gist of the album title and a lot of the lyrics is, change or the lack thereof. Why am I still the same, or will I ever be the same, or I will never be the same? There's a lot of this, a lot of these kind of musings, and of course you can take that a lot of different ways, and I express it in quite a few different ways on the record, and a lot of it is of that change or willingness to change or unwillingness to change is also the age that I'm at, and that feeling of, wow, now I can really see things are changing, and yet please, I don't want them to change, and yet I'm trying to not change some things. I'm being compulsive about some things, I think, because I'm trying to exert some control over this aging situation.
I understand that one. Yeah, we're all dealing with that, and it's a strange thing because, like you say, if you're comfortable with yourself, you don't want to change, and there's no reason that you have to. I guess there are certain expectations that come with age.
With myself. That's
oh well, okay. Well,
I'll cry from that too. It's a tough one, isn't it? You can't. There's no getting away from it. So you'd better come to terms with it.
Because it's been 25 years since your first solo album, right?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
So that's kind of. I remember when it came out. So I'm just going, how is this possible? You must think similar things. Do you look at your career as an arc, as something that's gone from one point to another?
No, not at all. I'm not the most big picture sort of careerist. I just put one record in front of the other at some point, even if there's 6 years between them. But I probably have suffered from a little bit of lack of ambition and forethought and planning and branding, or whatever people would think of it as now. But I don't know what I'm doing. I just continue and try the next thing. Keep doing, I'll do that again. And
do you have other hobbies and things that are keeping you interested?
Yeah,
diverted from this.
I'm doing other things, but none of them pay well. So I wish I'd gotten that accounting degree, like Grand told me to when I was 15.
That might have been the smartest thing that Mick Jagger ever did, was go to.
He
took care of business.
Well, never mind Mick Jagger. What about the hundreds of thousands of rock and roll people that didn't make it?
Well, that's the thing.
They're the ones that need the accounting degree. I count myself in that.
Yep. And of course, the business is very different even than it was in 2000 or wherever when you started out. It's not moving in the right direction, is it?
It's not. But we continue because we have no other.
They kind of got you by the short and curlies there. Yeah. It's a shame. All right, and so after tomorrow and the cake, you got some shows coming up. What are those going to be like?
I do. I don't know. I hope they'll be all right. I hope they'll be good. I'm going to the UK for most of June, and I will be doing some shows there with the band, which will be fun, I think. And I don't know. Again, maybe see if I was better at the self-promotion.
I understand. No, honesty is the best policy, though. You don't want to
I've never been. Yeah. I'm just. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm terrified. What if it goes wrong? But I'm always terrified. And then once it's it's fine. It's a bit like, you know, one of those people. I don't really want to leave the house and do anything. But leave the house, I usually feel better for it. And music is just a bigger version of that general feeling I have of whatever that is.
All right. And are you always writing songs? Do you have like a backlog of stuff stashed away somewhere?
I'm always writing songs, but very, very slowly. I'm not really I don't tend to finish a lot of songs, which is why which could go some way to explaining the gap between records. But I don't have a backlog of songs. I just tend to finish. You know, I was always one of those kids in school when they said, you know, you have to write 500 words. I'd be counting 480.
Yes. I'm done. Yes.
Yeah. So I've always been. So when it comes to making a record, you'll notice there's almost always 10 songs on that record because I get 9 songs, 10 songs done. I feel like I've done the bare minimum, which is what it said almost in my school reports. And I've continued in that vein. So no, I don't. I just, but you know, I like to think that what I do well is craft them quite well and let them percolate and try to fine tune them, and hopefully they're well formed when those 10 do come out.
Right. All righty. Well, hopefully you can make your way down to this part of the world at some point.
Well, I would really like to. I would love to. I love it. I'd really specifically like to come to New Zealand. I've been to Australia, but I'm more partial to the New Zealanders, I think. So, yeah. I mean, I would love to. I'd be happy to move there. I'd like.
I've been here 30 years. It was smartest thing I ever did in my life.
Find a little place on your block there with Neil.
There's room actually, and I'm sure Neil would sit in with you if you came down and did a gig.
Yeah.
He's pretty amenable to those kind of things.
Get a house, and I'll just move down there.
Done. Problem solved.
Than smelly, loud Brookyln.
It does have its charms, though. I got to say, it could be worse. All righty. Well, I hope you have a great day tomorrow and lots of cake and. Everything goes well, and yeah, we hope we do see you at some point. But in the meantime, enjoy your release day, and thank you for the record.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to talk.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.